Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I went fishing this weekend. My kid's been asking to go fishing. We discovered that this past weekend was free fishing weekend, which meant we didn't have to have a license. We could just go. Here in America, especially in my state, I don't know how it is everywhere else, you have to have a fishing license to fish. And there are certain species of fish, specifically trout, that if you want to catch trout, you have to have a conservation stamp. And so it's extra. And if you choose to keep fish, there's limits on how many you can keep, whatever. And it's like, I think it's about $50 these days for a fishing license. That does not include hunting. You can get a hunting and fishing license, which if you want to go hunting, whatever. Fishing has been a part of my life since I was a toddler. My grandfather taught me how to fish. My uncle fished. We went a lot. Grandpa and I would walk down the train tracks near his house and go fishing quite a bit. My uncle lived on a river. We would go fishing there. He would take me to fishing trips other places. My parents' neighbor took me on his boat down to the rivers and fished. I fished a lot growing up. And there for a while, for a period of my life, if you said, what do you do? I'd have said, I'm a fisherman. Like, that's what I do outside of work. That was during my time as an auto mechanic, during the early years of being an IT guy. Fishing was my hobby. I did it nearly every weekend. I went during the winter. In the weekend, I would go trout fishing. Winter time is better for that, and they don't start stocking until the winter anyway. I did a lot of fishing. I learned fly fishing, and I liked all kinds of fishing. And back then, I had a lot of spots. I knew where to go. I knew where to fish. This weekend, my kid has been asking, so I said, let's do it. But about 3-4 years ago, we cleaned out the basement, and I just got rid of all my fishing stuff. I was like, I'm never going to do this again. This isn't a part of who I am anymore. Like, let's just get rid of it. I had a lot. I had a lot of rods and reels. I had collapsibles that I used to keep my collapsible rod in a little tackle box in my motorcycle just in case. Like, if I rode past a stream, I would stop and fish. I used to do that a lot. Got rid of all of it. I figured I hadn't fished in at least 6 years. I don't need it anymore. It's not really a part of me anymore. Back when it was a part of my life, I used to give myself, I used to apply myself all in on something. Like, I'm going to be fishing, I'm going to go fishing. That's what I'm going to do. And I used to feel like if a person says they like to go fishing, that means that's what they do. Not that they like to go fishing and they do it 1 or 2 days a year, but that they go fishing. Like, they go home and they go fishing. And so when I was a fisherman, I went fishing all the freaking time. I loved it. I loved everything about it. Still do. Just, it's not really, I don't really care anymore. What I found out this weekend was, do I miss it? Yeah, kinda. It was nice. I think I enjoyed more watching my kid fish. She caught 5 fish. And then right before we left, I caught 1. So, it was fun to watch her and, teach her the things that my grandfather showed me, how to tie a fisherman's knot, all that sort of stuff, how to thread. We were fishing with little grubs. They're these little, like, curly-tailed, worm-looking things that go on a hook a special way, a jig-headed hook. They're really easy for new fishermen because they're kind of hard to get snagged. And they're pretty easy to just kind of twitch and reel, and you'll eventually catch something, which she did. Like I said, she caught 5, I caught 1. But the interesting part about it was, like, neither of us were prepared for this. It was like, let's go fishing. Okay, first of all, let's go to the store and buy fishing equipment because I don't have any anymore. So we went and bought a couple rods and reels. We bought some bait, bought a little, Plano tackle box thing. And then we just went fishing. Not really thinking about where we were going to go. I'm like, in my head, I was like, oh, I just go to the places I always went. But at that time, I was almost always waiting. Like, I had waders, or I had just like beach shoes. and I would just wade fish, walk up and down streams. But here I've got my kid. We both have on tennis shoes. Like, we can't really do that. So I realized I don't know where to go to bank fish around here. I have no clue. So we drove to like 2 spots. Went to one spot. There were some people there. We fished a little bit. She caught one little bluegill there. Drove to the next spot. I knew there was people there. Drove to the next spot. I knew there was people there. So I finally was like, let's go to this kind of popular place. It's a state park. Well, the place where people like to fish is right before the state park, but it's an outside bend in a river. It's a lazy kind of little area. There's, I think maybe it is part of the state park because there's picnic tables and fire rings there. And we got there and there was not a lot of people. Like, we pretty much had the whole area to ourselves. It's very deep. There's hundreds of largemouth and smallmouth bass. Like, you could literally just look and see them. But these fish have been fished dozens and dozens of times, so they're not super interested in what we're doing. But that's where she caught 4 fish there. I caught 1. And it was interesting. It was really interesting to think, like, wait, I have another person that I'm responsible for in this whole adventure. Like, back in my day, I had a vest that had my pliers and snippers and some extra baits in it. I had my fishing pole. I had my waders on, and I just went. Like, I would just hours walk up and down a stream, find spots to fish in. You know, I didn't have to find a bank to stand on. I didn't have to find a place to put the car, because I could just park and walk. But you know what? I very much enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable in a sort of, I could do this sometimes way. Not in a like, well, now I'm a fisherman again because that's what I'm going to do with my life. But just like, man, this is a good time. I've been talking a few times with Malia recently. Like, I think I'd like to try to go trout fishing again next year. Maybe I'll buy a license and go down to Elkins. It's about an hour and a half drive. The place that I like to go is about an hour and 45-minute drive. And then it's about an hour walk to get to where I like to go fishing. But that was one of my absolute favorite days of the year. There's no cell phone service down there. It's just open wilderness. It's just beautiful. I've spent many, many hours watching beavers play and fish swim and just sitting on a log, not even really fishing. But we'll see. Like, I don't know. I have so many other things I enjoy doing, working in the shop kind of thing, which I got to do a little bit of this weekend for my kid. She asked me to cut out some shapes for her that she's got a plan for these. I think this is 4-H or something like that. So I did get to make some sawdust this weekend. But fishing was an enjoyable time. It was really good. So, good days. Yeah. What'd you do this weekend? Anything exciting? Got anything you want to talk about this week? I'd love some topic ideas. Put it in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is waft. It's a verb meaning to carry lightly as if caught in a breeze. This quiet sail is his noiseless wing to waft me from distraction. Okay, Lord Byron, a British romantic poet. Waft. W-A-F-T. That's a good word. I guess it is kind of not used as much. Is like waft, like, is this a waft? Like, that's how you smell something that, right?